This is the hardest liar I have ever seen. No suit and leather shoes, deceives the rich at the beginning, takes care of ordinary people, plays with small carts, puts on shabby clothes, wraps his legs and sings a song of blessings. He sets off the busiest street in Seoul. Everybody does non-stop friendly charity for him. Suddenly, a pair of legs stops his way forward. He looks up. Is my own daughter, Ju-yoon. Hyun-tae turns around and leaves. Ju-yoon froze in a complicated situation. Hyun-tae, who works all morning, gets back in the car to count the money. Ju-yoon pulls the car door and sits in to question.
진짜 직업이 뭐야? 거지야?
Hyun-tae hesitates to answer. This is only part-time. Formal work or a liar. Then Ju-yoon complains incontumely. Dad, I hope you keep doing formal work. You just need to be decent, not to be a liar. Ju-yoon gets out of the car after complaining. Hyun-tae earns extra money at night, brings his wife and daughter to a high-end restaurant to feast on. Finishing the tender steak, they want to order a bottle of red wine. When the waiter took the bill, Mother glances at the couple who had just left the table. They had already drunk red wine bottles. She just gives a look. The daughter and husband immediately understand. They notices early that the man came by car. They follow to the door, see the man backing up. Mom pushes Ju-yoon out. Mother panics and cries. Dad immediately grabs the driver's collar, then pretends to be astonished and asks each other. Did you drink alcohol? Obviously the blackmail plan succeeds. The reason for their coming here is to consume. It's also because there are many hotels in a radius of 300 meters. So this couple usually have a fluke mentality. They don't find a driver. Ju-yoon is bandaged the next day, lies in the back seat of the car. She wants to ask for a reward for her contribution. She asks her father for a smartphone, but she is rejected by her mother. This makes Ju-yoon a little angry. She claims to go to the police to kill her relatives. Father quickly gets off, promises to buy the phone, and promises to buy new clothes for her. So he coaxes his daughter. Ju-yoon throws the cane to her dad. So she gets into the car. It turns out that her legs and feet are better than anyone else. The injury is also pretending. Hyun-tae is very generous to Ju-yoon's mother and daughter, but he is very hardworking. At night he goes to pretend to be disabled, but he is not lucky this time. He is constantly harassed by several gangsters. The gangsters tear off Hyun-tae's disguise. The surrounding crowds immediately gather, sneer at this liar, even starts taking pictures. This scene is seen by his daughter Ju-yoon. She can't think about it, prepares to protect dad from above. Suddenly someone in the crowd calls him out pastor, who appears as a woman dressing up as a white-collar worker. She looks very sorry for Hyun-tae, and Hyun-tae immediately takes over as the pastor, pretends to be miserable. At this time the woman speaks again. You are hiding from us.
저희들 모르게 이런 일을 하고 계셨어요? 이 돈으로 여태 아이들과 어르신들을 돌보고 계셨던 거예요?
Watching women cooperating so well, Hyun-tae pushes the boat along the water, expresses the hope that he did all these. Don't let the elderly and children in the orphanage know. Public opinion reverses in an instant. Ju-yoon in the crowd is a bit speechless to see the two people acting in a state of confusion. And this woman who plays with Hyun-tae is actually a famous liar, Yoon Kyung. After the seamless cooperation this time, Yoon Kyung helps Hyun-tae build Poor Priest Begging article. People designed to help the elderly and children, put the name of the beggar priest on Hyun-tae, pushed to the front. The report is full of praise for a time. Hyun-tae also has a large number of believers. Next, he is about to start harvesting. More and more believers fall into the trap. Soon, Yoon Kyung accumulates a fortune of tens of billions. Hyun-tae gets her share too. Then Yoon Kyung wants to build the largest church in Gangnam. She wants Hyun-tae to continue to endorse. But Hyun-tae's ambition ends here. He takes out all his accumulation to buy shares. Yoon Kyung can only agree to it. The believers have heard of building a grand church, have also invested. But at the lecture site that day, Hyun-tae receives a farewell call from Yoon Kyung. She calls and asks Hyun-tae to take all the charges, so she will leave a lot of money for his daughter, to ensure the future life of his family. And Yoon Kyung at this time has already been on the plane to South America. In cooperation between scammers, the most important thing is mutual trust. It sounds difficult. Because of this cooperation, who gives more trust must have a tragic ending. Hyun-tae knows that he was beaten and defeated, takes all the charges. At least his daughter's life is still guaranteed. When Ju-yoon visits him, Hyun-tae doesn't say anything. He just tells her to live a good life. At the door of the prison, Ju-yoon gets this passbook. She guesses the hard work of her father. She cries suddenly, but she is not reconciled to the inner life her father told. The flame of vengeance burns in her chest. She finds Hansen, a partner of her parents. Ju-yoon starts under his guidance, hones acting and deception. She is a stewardess today, be a doctor tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, she will be a driver or a support female fan. She will play the blind when someone needs it. She switches back and forth among countless identities. Sometimes Ju-yoon can hardly remember which one is the real herself. Yoon Kyung hasn't shown up in the past few years. This time the task is to play a rich girl. But Ju Yoon is tired of living like this. She wants to rest for a while. But when she resigns, he sees the female liar he was thinking of, Yoon Kyung. Hansen knows that Ju Yoon can't fight Yoon Kyung, but he can't advise her not to. He can only promise to help her. In order to get revenge, Ju Yoon gets into Yoon Kyung's company. She uses her beauty to get acquainted with the treasurer. She panics that she is the agent of the Bank of Korea. She hopes the supervisor will transfer the company's money, deposit in her own bank. Afterwards there comes a thick box. Anyway, this money must also be stored. You can achieve your goal with just a small favor. The supervisor immediately agrees. This is a fake bank, looks busy. Actually everyone is an actor. Real target customers is only this one man. President of the Office for Business is Ju Yoon's liar mother. The man hands over the deposit information. The manager in charge of the business proceeds to handle it, actually rushes to another real bank. In another bank, Ju Yoon has reserved a large deposit long ago. She pretends to get the wrong information for her friend to send. Hansen, who got the materials on the other side, begins to run wildly. Soon, these data is handed to Ju Yoon's hands. She opens an account. Hansen keeps getting the information back and hands a fake account to the man. And the real account is undoubtedly in Ju Yoon's hands. The man doesn't notice it. The plan is successful. At night, Ju Yoon tells Mom to transfer the money away when it arrives at 200. Mom thinks Ju Yoon's plan is too conservative, but she still agrees. But when she sees the numbers that keeps beating in the computer, she can't help but freeze her remorse. She persuades Hansen to wait one more day. The numbers on the screen are indeed every minute, all beating. It's more refreshing in minutes. Mom laughs from ear to ear. And Ju Yoon has already arrived because of the money. She comes to the company. She wants to see Yoon Kyung know that after, the savings are transferred away. She looks at the collapse. Yoon Kyung calls her to the office. What is your purpose? Is the target me? In order to avenge your father, you break into the enemy camp. Is that right? Then the manager who was beaten to death is dragged in. Things fall apart. Yoon Kyung has already seen Ju Yoon's identity. These behaviors of hers are also seen in the eyes. At this time, her mom also fails to transfer the money. It is too late. Ju Yoon is twisted to the court, charged with illegal transfer of other people's property. Sentenced for 1.5 years. He learns from the pain in prison, sums up a lot, also makes new friends. Time flies. Ju Yoon, after being released from prison, is not a bit decadent, but more radiant. She takes a selfie with confidence. The comment area of social transfers immediately becomes hot. Her friends in prison has also become her revenge. Yes, she hasn't given up. Ju Yoon decides to carry out the fraudulent game to the end. This play is about the game between a liar and a liar. And bluntly puts the face of a liar. And the means are presented to the audience. In such a setting of all the villains, they take the fraud for themselves. A documentary calls the redistribution of wealth. But as long as you overcome the greed in your heart, we, ordinary people, will not fall into the trap of a liar.